Have you ever found yourself trapped in a loop of thoughts you just can't escape? It's as if your brain is on repeat, replaying the same worries, fears, or regrets over and over again. It feels like there's no off switch. But here's the truth no one tells you. The mind, like any other part of the body, can be trained. What you might not know is that these obsessive thoughts aren't something you have to live with. They're symptoms of a brain that simply learned the wrong habit, a habit you can unlearn with a few science-backed strategies. Understanding the nature of obsessive thoughts. First things first, your brain isn't broken. When you experience obsessive thoughts, your brain is actually doing what it's supposed to, protecting you. You see, the brain is hardwired to scan for danger and keep us safe. That's why, in times of stress or anxiety, certain thoughts can seem to stick around longer than they should. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and emotional responses, can take over, firing up that fight or flight response when there's no real danger. This is where neuroscience can help us understand how to break this cycle. The goal is to deactivate that stress response and re-engage the prefrontal cortex, the rational problem-solving part of the brain. Rewiring the brain through mindfulness. One of the most effective ways to regain control over obsessive thoughts is through mindfulness. Studies in neuroplasticity show that the brain is malleable. It can rewire itself based on your habits. When you practice mindfulness, you train your brain to focus on the present moment, rather than allowing it to spiral into future fears or past regrets. This doesn't mean you have to sit in silence for hours. Start small. Try focusing on your breath for just 5 minutes, and every time your mind wanders, gently bring it back. Over time, you'll find that this practice helps you observe your thoughts without being consumed by them. The role of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT is another powerful tool for silencing obsessive thoughts. The core idea is that your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected. Obsessive thoughts often arise from cognitive distortions, irrational thought patterns that convince you something is much worse than it is. By identifying and challenging these distortions, you can break the cycle. For instance, if you catch yourself thinking, "If I don't get this right, everything will fall apart," challenge it. Ask yourself, "Is that really true? What evidence do I have for this belief?" Over time, this practice rewires your brain to think more rationally, weakening the grip obsessive thoughts have on you. Creating new neural pathways with action. Did you know that every time you indulge an obsessive thought, you're strengthening that neural pathway? But here's the good news. You can create new pathways by taking different actions. This is where techniques like pattern interruption come into play. Next time you catch yourself ruminating, do something unexpected. Go for a walk, call a friend, or even splash cold water on your face. This jolt of novelty helps your brain break free from the automatic loop it's fallen into. Neuroscience shows that by repeatedly interrupting the obsessive thought pattern, your brain begins to associate the thought with something different, making it easier to move past it. Building resilience through gratitude. It may sound too simple to be true, but gratitude is one of the most effective ways to shift your mindset. When you focus on what's going right, you redirect your brain's attention away from obsessive thoughts. Studies in positive psychology show that practicing gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, the brain's feel-good chemicals. This doesn't mean you have to ignore the tough stuff in your life. Instead, try balancing the scale. Every time an obsessive thought arises, counter it by identifying 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to focus more on the positive, making obsessive thoughts lose their grip. Cultivating a daily practice for long-term change. No single strategy will magically silence obsessive thoughts overnight, but the key to success is consistency. The brain thrives on repetition. Start by incorporating mindfulness, cognitive behavioral techniques, and gratitude into your daily routine, even if it's just for a few minutes. Over time, your brain will learn new, healthier habits. Neuroscience shows that with consistent effort, you can weaken the old pathways tied to obsessive thoughts and strengthen new ones, giving you more control over your mind than you ever thought possible. So, the next time your brain tries to trap you in a loop, remember, you're not stuck. You have the power to break free. Ready to take that first step?